And this is what I realize now that I didn't realize then. You have it backwards. Achievement starts in the mind first. Then you see it in reality. Most people want to see it before they'll allow themselves to feel it, and then they wonder why it never materializes. Are we doing podium today? Because this is very formal. Hello. Hello. I'd like to talk to you today about global warming. It's very hot outside. Thank you for having me. Okay, so a couple things. Just want to tell you a quick story. The client I was going out with, and they were saying, you know, why do you do what you do, and what is your intention and why you're doing this? And maybe it's just the day, or I'm fucking lit and I've had no sleep, and so I answered off the cuff. I thought about a story, and when I was a kid, I was like maybe 6 or 7. My grandmother had a coat closet in her, like a master bedroom closet, where you can put all your shit in there, and she kept all of her winter stuff in there. And I set up a computer in her closet, and it was one of those old Gateway 2000s, and I'm not that old, but this is a fucking old computer, like desktop, huge screen, like big screen, and it came in this big cow print box, and it came with one of those big booklets of CDs, and it had like Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing and like SimCity and all those old games. And I would go in there, yeah, right? Yeah. And I would go in there and I would put up a sign with printer paper, and it would say, "Do not disturb writing in progress." And I would type out stories in there. And that was my first exposure to being a writer and thinking about really just pure creativity. I was growing up into an adolescent and a young man, and I never really lost my love for writing, but it just became one of those things where it was just something that I obviously did well in school, and I was able to get good grades with it, but I never considered it something that I could do as an actual career. Yes, you can get a creative degree, but I think the inside joke of those creative degrees is like, you're never going to make any money with this. I mean, even your parents will tell you, like, why would you major in, why would you get a creative degree? Why would you, get a degree in painting? Like, the joke is that philosophy, art school, no one gets paid for that type of stuff. That, at least subconsciously in the back of my head, was running my entire life until I got to a certain point. And after a while, I started to question my own beliefs. I started to question all the things that I'd been told, and by people who loved me, people who were trying to look out for me, people who just wanted the best for me. My mom is an insurance adjuster, and my dad literally is a truck driver, and so it's like the most basic American jobs, safe. Unless Elon Musk totally fucks him up, I don't know what's going to go on with that. But truck driving is still a thing. And so like I never really questioned them until I got to a point where I was so deeply uncomfortable with what I was doing that I had to do something different. I had to make a change. And so I graduated school. I didn't want to go back to school and get another degree. I didn't want to do the corporate thing, so I was stuck. And over a period of years, I continually reinvented myself. I first started off as a freelancer, and I was teaching SAT and ACT. And for me, that was it was like an extension of my school career, and I'm a smart guy, and I'm great at taking tests, so I was able to teach that. And that unlocked my mind to the fact that like I can offer something, and if it's good enough, and if I have enough energy behind it, people will pay me for it. It's money, for all intents and purposes, isn't really real. I mean, we feel it's very real if we need to pay our rent and buy this groceries, but for the most part what it is I have something to offer, and I bring this energy or this idea, and it could be teaching you something or selling you something or giving you something, and then you say, thank you, I'd like that, and you return it with money. And for most of us, money doesn't even exist in the physical anymore. We just send over digits, and that's just how it happens. And I didn't consciously understand that, but it started to work in my mind where like I have things I can offer, and people seem to recognize that, and if I figure out how to exchange those things, I can make something of myself and of my own life, and I don't have to be subjected to just like clocking in, working at the fucking restaurant, scooping butterballs, smelling like fried chicken all day. But I gradually started to pull myself out. I started freelancing, and then over time I started to think, well, if I'm already like I'm able to support myself, I was making a few $1,000s a month freelancing, and that was pretty much that was enough for me to realize that I could step out of the matrix. But I still had a lot of things that were holding me back mentally, and I thought, well, let me start writing these things out. And just for my own sake of clarity and for my own understanding, let me try to document some of this stuff. And then I just started my blog. And at the time it was Rich 20 something, which you can tell is a very aspirational name because, you know, at 23, when I'm working at a restaurant, I'm not a rich 20-something. It's something that I wanted to be. Now looking back on that, I realized something very important. And actually, you know what, can we scroll up? I want to show you this. I just made this post and it elucidates this point. And this is what I realize now that I didn't realize then. You have it backwards. Achievement starts in the mind first. Then you see it in reality. Most people want to see it before they'll allow themselves to feel it, and then they wonder why it never materializes. I didn't know I was doing this, but I thought, rich 20-something, that's going to be me. And I saw it in my mind first, and because I saw it, the path kind of lit up. Now, it doesn't mean that the path was all lit up. This room is all lit, and then we can see everyone in the room and see all the features of the room. But the deal with entrepreneurship and really just life is that it's not like that. It's like a flashlight. And you see about 3 or 4 steps in front of you, and what you do is you build confidence in yourself. And you take one step and you say, okay, solid footing. Okay, solid footing. And over time, your light gets a little bit brighter and your footing gets more sure, and then you have confidence to walk forward and step right into what you're doing. Step into your goals. You say, I am that. And you step right into it. And that's kind of what, for me, what the website and the blog was, and then it became a reality. And so I continued to keep writing. I continued to keep developing myself, developing my craft. And again, looking back on this, and of course hindsight's always 20/20, 50/50, whatever, I look back on this and say, developing myself as an artist and as a writer was extremely important because as you develop your craft, whatever it is, whether you're, physique athletes, whether you're a coach, whether you're a writer, whether your artistic craft or the way that you deliver your work into the world is through video. I mean, shit, social media is an art too. Like, there are people who are way better at it than me, and they're artists at it. I'm not. I look at my fucking face and Jesus, But you develop yourself, and your craft becomes a vehicle for personal growth. And I don't really consider myself a personal growth expert, and that's not really how I pigeonhole myself, but I realized that me creating my work was that vehicle, and I continued to write over the years, and I started writing a blog, and people picked it up. It just got picked up, and there's no other way that I can say it. I was watching some ratchet shit the other day. I was watching Cardi B on Instagram, right? I know Cardi B, and she's like, I don't know why I'm so successful. Y'all be asking me why I'm so successful, and I don't know. I just tried, and it doesn't sound very insightful. It's not very insightful, but there is a nugget there, and the idea is that successful people don't always know that they're going to be successful, or they don't always know the path, but they understand that putting yourself out there opens up the opportunities. You don't start and say, what's the exact plan, what's the game plan, and what is the exact blueprint. You can have that in mind, you can read a bunch of blog posts, you can watch all the YouTube videos in the world, but you as well as I know that when you do that, if anything, just burns you out, because you're like, oh, there's so many things I could be doing, there's so many options, Amanda did it this way, Brennan did it this way, and I tried that, it didn't quite fit for me, it didn't quite work for me. When am I going to get my thing? When am I going to pop off? When am I going to get all these followers? When am I going to get an email list? When am I going to start making money? And you try things that other people do and it doesn't work for you because you're expecting the blueprint to show you the way, when really it's your heart that shows you the way. It's your heart, and then you activate your mind. It starts here, and then here it activates your brain. Your brain is an important tool, but it can't know everything. You think about your intellect. Your intellect relies on past information, right? Your intellect can only look at what's happened in the past and say, well, that worked before, maybe that will work again. Scientists look at data and they say, well, this worked before, this will work again. But life isn't always a science. Sometimes life is an art. It's creative, okay? You're literally creating. So it starts here, and you follow this with your little flashlight, and you step into it, right? So that was inadvertently what I was doing. I can only speak about this now because I've done it, but I didn't know that at the time. But I stepped into it, and I continued to write, I continued to develop myself, and over a period of years, people saw that energy, they saw that enthusiasm, they saw that, for lack of a better word, it's an overused word in the fucking industry, passion. They saw the passion, and they're like, this guy has something, I don't know quite what it is, but there's something here. And they got picked up. An Entrepreneur magazine picked it up, a Time magazine picked it up, but I still wasn't made then. I'm not getting paid for that stuff, but I started to get some visibility, I started to get on the radar. Then, eventually, because I put myself out there, the opportunities started to unfold themselves. And so I got the opportunity to write the book. Because you write the book, people think you're very credible, they think you're an authority, which of course I am when I step into that, and I agree with that. But at the same time, it's all perception, right? So I think the most important takeaway, and I want this to be like open, we can ask questions and stuff, but I think the most important takeaway is that as you go along your journey and as you develop yourselves, you're all creatives in here, you're all entrepreneurs, and even if you don't feel like your business is where you want it to be, that's who you are, and so really it's just a matter of going from here to there, knowing that you're going to accomplish it, having confidence and faith, for lack of a better word, and the fact that you can achieve that, then you start to build confidence in yourself. And some of that comes through consistency. It's much, much better to produce a lot of shitty work and have a few gems than to try really hard to produce only gems and get stuck and procrastinate. For a few reasons. One, because especially now with social media and the way that content is being delivered and developed, we just have short attention span. We don't have time. We're not going to wait for you. There are very few artists who can wait 10 years between albums like they used to be able to do. There are very few creators who can spend all this time sharpening the sword without putting something out into the world. So you need to remember that whatever it is that you're doing, you need to create a lot of it. And also you have to realize that as you create more, you'll become more confident with what you can do, and that will bring you to a point where you're encouraged to do it more. For me, that's writing every day. Although admittedly I have slacked over the past 3 days and I haven't sent anything out. But my goal, my intention is to write and send out something every single day. And when I do that, when I write, I try to think to myself, what's the realest shit I can say right now? What is the most honest thing I can say? I stopped doing, if you can scroll down a million years on my Instagram, you can see that for a while I was building my account off of all these quotes and I was just reposting other people's stuff. And one day I thought, why would I want to just be an echo chamber of everyone else's ideas? Why don't I think of the honest things that I want to say and really say those things? Now, the thing is, I built a lot of my following off of just echoing other people's ideas, and it did work to an extent. And now that I'm doing only my original thoughts and only the honest things that I actually feel, I'm actually losing followers. Fuck them. I don't care, because I didn't come here to copy everyone else. I came here to be myself. Amanda knows this. I'm like, I look at my social blades, like, it's okay, And what I realized is that it's actually more powerful to come from a place of pure honesty and have a smaller following than just say what everyone else is saying and have a million people following you. Because then they really can't distinguish you from anyone else. Everyone has their own swag, everyone has their own flavor. And so as you develop that and you build confidence in that, other people feel that confidence, they feel that energy, and they want to be a part of that. And then as that grows and changes, they see the energy, they see the enthusiasm, and they want to pay you money for that. They want to be around that.